The movie begins with Edda daydreaming. In her imagination, she is racing in the Grand Prix of Europe finals, speeding confidently. But she snaps out of it when things start to go wrong. Her father reminds her that in their small racing park, she has to let the customers win so they will keep paying. He tells her to stay focused because their park is barely getting visitors. However, Edda runs off to the TV because she remembers that today is the Grand Prix qualifying event. She watches the broadcast while still trying to serve customers, but she becomes too distracted, which makes her father very angry. Later that night, Edda's dad, Gerwyn, who was once a Grand Prix champion himself, sits with her. He explains that racing these days is mostly about money, but real racing should be about creativity and skill. Edda still believes she could succeed in the Grand Prix if she just had the chance to join. But she also knows she has to stay and help keep her mother's dream of running the park alive. After Gerwyn leaves her room, two men approach him and demand that he pay back the money he owes. They warn him that if he doesn't pay within a week, they will take the park. Edda hears everything. Her father tells her he cannot let the last memory of his wife be taken away. Feeling sad, Edda goes out alone and sits by herself. She looks up and sees the racer's airplane flying across the sky. She follows it and ends up at the tent of her father's worker, who is also a fortune teller. The fortune teller tells Edda that one day she will get her chance to race in the Grand Prix. She also reveals that someone has been stealing Edda's mail. From this, Edda realizes that many racers will be in town for the upcoming tournament. The fortune teller suggests Edda should hand out flyers to get more visitors to the park so her father can pay back his debt. The next morning, Cindy, the event host, begins introducing the best racers who will compete in tomorrow's race. She announces Bockley and Magnus, while Edda is busy passing out her flyers. But when Ed, a four-time champion, comes on stage, Edda becomes starstruck. She stares at him so long that all her flyers get blown away by the wind. While trying to gather them, she ends up near Ed's race car. Unable to resist, she touches it and accidentally causes it to move. Ed notices and jumps on the car as it rolls. Edda ends up driving the car back toward the garage while Ed clings on. Even though he complains and gets angry, deep down he notices how well she drives. They crash into a sand area, and Ed injures his shoulder. He panics, saying he cannot go to the hospital because if anyone finds out he is hurt, he will be disqualified. He begs Edda not to tell anyone. Edda brings him to the fortune teller, who says it will take weeks for him to heal. Edda's friend walks in and mistakes Ed for Edda, which makes Edda realize they look a lot alike. Her friend suggests that Edda could race in Ed's place. Ed has no other option, so he agrees. Edda then tells him he must give her half of his prize money so she can help save the park. Meanwhile, in the background, a mysterious racer is also planning dirty tricks for the competition. Soon, the event in Paris begins. Cindy explains that the racers not only have to beat each other, but also survive different challenges along the route. She interviews the racers, and Ed introduces Edda, disguised as him, as his biggest fan. After that, Ed starts training Edda on how to talk and act exactly like him, though she already knows a lot about him from watching him for years. Ed also gives her an earpiece so he can guide her while she races. When the race is about to begin, Edda starts feeling nervous. Ed reassures her that all she needs to do in this first race is finish in the top 30 to qualify for the next round. During the race, Edda drops from 9th place all the way to last, which shocks Ed so much that he almost faints. Cindy continues to push the excitement of the race as she sends thunderbolts onto the track as obstacles. Ed guides Edda through her earpiece, helping her avoid the lightning strikes, and she slowly climbs her way up to the 36th position. She starts gaining on Magnus and Natch Crab, but then a mysterious slippery grease appears on the road, slowing her down. This ends up causing her to finish exactly in the 30th position, just barely qualifying. Edda believes someone sabotaged her, but Ed refuses to believe that the race was tampered with. The next day, the race takes place in the Alps, and Edda begins to feel more confident. This time, Cindy introduces a giant rolling snowball as an obstacle. From a distance, Edda notices that the snowballs seem controlled, like they are intentionally being directed to crash into racers. Again, Ed insists sabotage is impossible, but Edda chooses to trust herself. She uses her rocket ramp spin flip skyride driving skills to escape the snowballs, making it all the way into the top 10. After the race, Edda tries to tell the others that Natch Crab is behind the sabotage, but he suddenly walks in. She quickly leaves, but in her heart, she now feels certain he is the one responsible. Meanwhile, Edda's father watches the race and recognizes her driving style. Realizing his daughter is competing, he decides he must go support her and begins searching for transportation to get there. During this time, Edda follows Natch Crab to the garage and sees a picture of her father there. Natch Crab also recognizes him, but Edda denies knowing anything about it. In the next race, which takes place in Italy, Cindy adds sea monsters as obstacles. This time, Edda drives with strong focus, avoiding all the monsters with impressive skill. Ed begins to admire her more and allows her to make decisions on her own. While racing, Edda struggles to get ahead of Magnus and Natch Crab. Suddenly, a strange wind carrying a strong smell blows across the track and knocks her off course. She becomes furious, convinced this is Natch Crab's doing again, and he ends up winning the race. Angry and determined, Edda breaks into Natch Crab's car to look for evidence, which makes Cindy step in to stop her. Because Cindy thinks she is Ed, she gives Ed a 1-minute time penalty for the final race. Ed becomes extremely upset about the penalty and slams the door of his room, causing a book to fall. Edda picks it up and discovers it contains stories about Ed's past. Barclay appears and explains that Ed is actually an orphan who once had friends who all dreamed of becoming a racing team together. But they were adopted, one by one, leaving Ed alone. From then on, Ed decided he didn't need friends anymore. Barclay says he used to be Ed's friend too, but now Ed refuses to acknowledge him on the racetrack. Sometime later, Ed realizes his injured arm has healed, meaning he can race again. As Edda is walking, she senses that same strange smell again, and it leads her to Magnus' room. She hides behind a tree and quietly steals the keys from his pocket. Inside his room, she manages to find Magnus' secret sabotage plans, and also learns what he intends to do next. She sneaks out before Magnus notices anything. Edda tells Ed what she discovered, expecting him to believe her, but instead he becomes angry, refuses to listen, and fires her. Right before the final race begins, Edda explains everything to her father and her friends. Her father hands her the keys to his own vehicle. Edda uses it to destroy the sabotaging devices hidden below the sewer. Ed finally starts to believe her as she begins guiding him through the race again. But during the race, Ed sees a huge train speeding toward a crowd of people. He gives up his chance of winning so that he can go save them, allowing Magnus to cross the finish line instead. Magnus celebrates too early, but slips and hits the dashboard, accidentally revealing his sabotage controls for everyone to see. He gets immediately disqualified. Natch Crab becomes the new winner, but he decides to hand the trophy to Edda, saying he could recognize her father's legendary racing move anywhere. In the end, Edda's mother's park is saved, and Edda forms a racing partnership with Ed. And that's how the story wraps up. Hope you enjoyed the movie recap. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to It's Mythical for more exciting recaps like this. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned.